How much should you spend? That is a question I am asked all the time when it comes to Google Ads. There are two real parts to this question. How much should you spend in total, and how much should you spend on each click? Let's start with the easy one first. How much should you spend in total? Well, it depends on the impact you want to have on your business. Ultimately, I know what you're going to say, because I've heard it a million times. Ultimately, you're going to say, well, if the thing is profitable, Mike, I'll spend whatever it takes. I'll spend $1 million a month if I can get this 5-to-1 mythical return that you're talking about, or this 26x return. I'll spend all the money I've got and I'll go to the bank and borrow more. Yes. Until you hit the point of constraints in your business. And that might be a physical constraint of actually creating the product. It might be a cash flow constraint where actually it costs you money now to deliver the service, but the money doesn't come in for 60 days. There's all kinds of constraints that might exist in your business. But yes, in theory, you would spend an unlimited amount of money if this thing was highly profitable. However, search is a finite world. There are only a certain number of people per day searching for each keyword. Yes, it moves around, and yes, you might always be able to think of new keywords. And remember I said that there's a few new keywords that are brand new every single day. People are weird. People keep changing the way they search for things. So with all of those caveats in place, it really comes down to what's the impact you want for your business. How many extra leads per day, per week, per month would make a difference for your business? How many extra sales per month would you like to have in your business? And once you start to gather some data, and once you start to understand what a sale or what a lead is going to cost in your market, because every market's different, it depends on what your competitors are doing, right? It depends if you're in a very competitive, expensive city, it's going to be more expensive than if you're in a rural destination with only a couple of competitors. So there's a lot of factors that go into this. Where I'm going to start is I'm going to suggest that you spend the least amount of money possible. Not think about the millions that you could be spending, but what's the amount that you can afford to lose? Because I want to set your expectations here. You are going to lose money the first few days, maybe even the first few weeks that you run Google Ads, particularly if you want to set this all up yourself and run it yourself and you've never run a Google Ads account before. It doesn't matter how much education I try and give you, how many videos you watch, ultimately, you're probably going to lose money at the beginning because it is a complicated beast. But we're going to talk about all the things you can do to mitigate that risk, to make sure you start the best possible way. Like we've said, just a few keywords. We've thought about some of the ads that we're going to write. We're going to track. Before we start spending any money, we're actually going to set up tracking and understand the outcomes that we want. Who would have thunk it? But believe it or not, that probably puts you ahead of 80% of Google Ads users. So you're going to start in the best possible place, but I want you to have that expectation that you are probably going to lose money at the beginning. We're going to talk about optimization in the last module and some of the things that you can do to keep improving your Google Ads account, which will improve your profitability over time. But that's not going to happen on day one because you don't know what you're doing yet. No matter how many videos you watch, it's a bit like riding a bike. You can't learn to ride a bike by watching videos and reading books. You have to get out there and try it, fall off a few times, scuff your knee, get back up and try again. I've got a 6-year-old. It's a very recent thing for me, teaching my daughter how to ride a bike and the tears that go with that. It's probably going to be the same. This isn't going to be perfect on day one. Okay. So, how much can you afford to lose while you're gathering data, while you're improving your Google Ads account? What's small for you? That might be $10 a day, it might be $100 a day, it might be $1,000 a day. But what's an amount that your business can afford to spend to test, to gather data, to learn? So you're going to set your budget there. And we're going to talk about budgets more in the next module, which is structure and settings, where we talk about campaigns and the various settings. But each campaign has a budget and you are in control of that. And you're going to set that amount. Okay, so that's the campaign. That's sort of the total money that you're going to spend because we're going to start with just one campaign. Within a campaign, we've got a whole bunch of keywords. And we've talked about CPCs now and CPA and a bunch of other acronyms and jargon. But you're going to choose how much you want to spend on each click, with the caveat that Google makes up its own rules sometimes, and the amount you specify may not be the amount that you spend, but give or take roughly, it's roughly there. How much should you choose to bid on each keyword? I used the example of $1 before, but if you're in mortgage refinance, and if that's one of your keywords, then bidding $1 won't show a single ad ever, because your competitors are spending around $80 to $150 per click. And if you offer Google $1, well, clearly you're not going to win any auctions, and therefore Google is never going to show your ad. See, auctions are a competitive thing. How much you bid will determine, or is dependent upon, how much your competitors are bidding. If all of your competitors are bidding around, say, $5, then you'll need to spend around about $5 a click in order to begin to compete. How do you know what your competitors are spending? Well, this is where the Google Keyword Planner tool comes in that I mentioned before. So again, go up to Tools in the top of your account and look for Keyword Planner. Plug in the half a dozen keywords that you've decided to start with, because we've done that work now. So plug those in. You can adjust the settings here to make sure you're asking Google what those prices are in your physical location, your geographical location, because again, the price is going to be different if you're in Chicago or Manchester or Perth. The prices will be different. And Google will spit out a number here. Now, it is only a guide. There's no such thing as a hard and fast, you must bid this amount for this keyword. But it is a good starting place. So I'm going to suggest you use that methodology when you're starting out. You've got half a dozen keywords, it won't take you very long. You go to the Keyword Planner tool, change the settings to your geography, and see how much Google tells you you should be spending where you are. Start with that amount, and then we'll adjust that amount, maybe up, maybe down, when we get to the section on optimization. There's two different ways you can play this. You could do that. There's a couple of other options for you. I'll just lay them out. You could choose to start low and maybe bid 50 cents or $1. And then if you find you're not getting any ads to show, which is called an impression, then you could start to incrementally increase your bid until your ads start to show. And that's where you know, okay, I'm starting to bid about the amount I need to in this particular market. That's another option. Another option is you could start high and you could say, okay, I'm going to guess that my competitors are spending a couple of bucks. It's really just a guess. I could offer $10 to the machine, and I know that Google wants to show my ads because I know I'm offering more than I think my competitors will, or I can see from the Keyword Planner tool that most of my competitors are offering $4, so I'm going to offer $20. And you could start high. And you'll get lots of impressions, and your ads will show. And the reason you might do that is, okay, I've heard I need to just elbow my way into this market. I maybe need to bid a little bit more than existing competitors in order to sort of help Google nudge me in the right direction and start showing my ads. And there's some truth to that. But the danger with that is that you end up spending a huge amount of money for each lead. I've told you you're probably going to lose money at the start, but I don't want you to lose a fortune. I don't want you to be paying $400 for a lead where you could be getting them for $60. We need to be sensible about this. So massively overpaying and hoping to wind the price down later, it's an option, but it's probably not one that I would suggest. So have a look at Keyword Planner, see what the amount is there, start there, and then we'll adjust that up and down as we go.